In my recent deep dives, I've explored how fiction often clashes with people's perception of reality online. The norms on the internet are way more different than everyday life, which raises the question, why is that? This issue has gained attention recently after NSFW artists lost monetization on YouTube, sparking debate on Twitter about how such creators are viewed. Some people argue that NSFW artists are simply making a living, while others see their work as morally wrong. Ultimately, the divide comes down to how individuals distinguish fiction from reality. Some see fiction as harmless, while others worry it can blur boundaries and normalize behavior that would be unacceptable in real life. Which brings us to the topic of the video of someone who's pushed the envelope to its limits, its consequences becoming harder to ignore. This is the story of TasteOfChoklit.
Killing the masses, killing the food. Bitch, you know I am the murderous too. Freddy gon' kill you right out of his tomb. Choking you out and you'll hear the big boom. Devilish shit, choke on a bitch. Faking and stealing, finessing the hit. Eyes in the back of my head, better they dead. People, they call me the trash.
TasteOfChoklit, or Choklit as I'll be calling him throughout the rest of the video, is an NSFW artist who's been on the radar of many people in the last couple of years. This is due to many controversial NSFW pieces that he's done, which includes different storytime animators like Jelly Bean and JaidenAnimations. The latter seems to be one of Choklit's favorite people to draw because not only does he draw Jaiden, Jaiden's mother, but her baby brother?
What the fuck? No!
Besides the disturbing amount of JaidenAnimation porn, he is also known for his history of paywalling child art, his inappropriate behavior towards minors, along with various sexual deviancies and being a general nuisance towards people. But first, I want to start with the child art. As stated previously, Choklit has drawn a lot of NSFW artwork featuring Shota characters. Shota, if you don't know what that is, it's the depiction of young anime boys. Seen throughout the montage on the screen, Choklit has taken many requests that involve Shota characters in various sexual poses and themes. It is to be noted that Choklit lives in Chile, where in possession of these kinds of drawings, real or fake, that depicts genitalia with the purpose of sexual gratification is illegal, with the possibility of being imprisoned for up to 5 years depending on the circumstances. These arts show countless times Choklit would draw fictional children getting sexual in his art. Not only that, but he'll also draw real people, creating even more controversy. This would include real IRL adult actresses getting digged down by multiple Shota characters, which were paywalled to his Pixiv fan box and subscribe star. However, the main controversy everyone goes back to was in August of 2024, where Choklit would post a sexualized drawing of a female he found pretty cute on TikTok. The problem lies that the female depicted was 16 years old in the reference photo Choklit used, meaning for all intents and purposes, Choklit drew a sexualized version of a minor. The female would find out about the artwork and take to her Instagram story to warn people about the piece and Choklit, instructing people to report him for the drawing. People on the side of Choklit would argue that the female in question was an adult at the time when she made her Instagram story, so it was fair game, or say that Choklit didn't know that she was a minor in order to simply give Choklit a pass, normalizing this wretched behavior publicly. Nevertheless, that doesn't give Choklit the right to just take a real human and sexualize them without any major backlash for doing it in the first place. There's a difference between using IRL people as a base for art, such as for posing, where it's clearly meant to be a reference point, compared to directly depicting a real person in a hypersexualized way, which crosses ethical boundaries and can be harmful or exploitive. For these reasons, you can see how Choklit believes that there is no bound that his art won't take, which can be summed up by reading his bio on Twitter. Art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. The quote suggests that to him, art has a purpose simply beyond being tame, and that's fine. There are topics that are going to be against the grain, like gore, where it challenges one's emotional or mental limits. However, this idea can also be problematic because it justifies harmful or inappropriate content under the excuse of challenging audiences. Not all discomfort leads to meaningful reflection. Sometimes it can cross the perimeters of one's consent, especially if it involves exploiting real people, sensitive topics, or vulnerable groups. When taken too far or used to hide behind your actions, this mindset can blur the lines between thought-provoking art and content that causes harm, rather than insight. Similarly to drawing art of children as requests, this behavior would seep into his old Discord server, Creamyland, especially not enforcing the rule which states that any upload of Lolly and Shota art in the server is forbidden. But fans and other artists would clearly post these in dedicated free and paid wall text channels in the server, which begs the question on if the rules of the server even mattered or regulated in the first place. Along with the Lolly Show posting on Discord, Choklit would commission other minors to make art for him as seen in this screenshot from 2020 when he was 25. Now at the time he didn't know that the artist was a minor, and when he found out he would do the responsible thing of blocking and removing all contact with the minor, only to unblock them a month later, flirting with them so it'd be easier to get a commission. At the height of people being aware of Choklit's accusations, he would be confronted on Discord about it. To no one's surprise, he would deny the allegations, downplaying any drawings that he made with the reasoning of separating fiction from reality.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
By the same token as drawing minors, not enforcing his rules, not taking accountability, we can see that these actions reflect the behavior of Choklit as a person. Choklit has been accused of stealing through commissioning assets, then flipping them into his own works for a higher price, or blatantly stealing OCs for his own profit. Which is funny because he always copes when other artists trace his art, except when it's to his standards. Speaking of standards, he is always known to be detestable if things don't go his way. Multiple different war stories have came out against Choklit because he wouldn't like it if people didn't bow down to his blonde OC. He wouldn't take no for an answer. He would be very unprofessional when trying to give art critique. Oh, and he'll also yell at you if you like Yoshi Super and Ultimate.
Okay, it's childish and being.
The last point I want to mention is the allegations of grooming and how he treats people IRL. I previously mentioned how he commissioned and flirted with a minor when he was 25, but that wasn't just a one and done incident. No, he was doing it with multiple minors. Based on these screenshots, Choklit has sent his nudes to a 17-year-old, getting really sexual with it despite the obvious age gap. He would also ask nudes in return from these minors, and will also try to get them to participate in his humiliation kink. More victims will come out about Choklit's deviancy, like this anonymous user who proclaims that Choklit bought one of their plushies and proceeds to send the anon multiple videos of him and his boyfriend at the time railing the plushie that he made. Taking everything from these screenshots and testimonies, there is no doubt that Choklit's sexual degeneracy has no bounds, whether it's on Discord or on Twitter, with him being desperate for any kind of romance, willing to get it on with minors in order to satisfy his depraved needs. In conclusion, TasteOfChoklit is someone who should not have a platform where he promotes inappropriate art, not only to an audience that sometimes involves minors, he actively promotes it in his Discord servers, and being a sexual degenerate in which you should stay away from, simply block his account and spread awareness of the actions that he's committed. With that, this is where we will be ending the video. Thank you all for watching. Do the whole shebang, like, comment, subscribe, comment Viex Caitlin if you made it through the video. I've been Ibrabuki, signing off.
So I woke up feeling kinda blue, like notebook, paper, ink, bleeding, ripped, drenched, twisted, and the tears I cried cause of you. When I told you living life was like dying slowly every day. But baby,